Our story begins in an old, crumbling courtyard, in a castle, at the top of a wind-swept tower, in a tiny room. There's a boy, his brain's throbbing, his body's fatigued, exhausted from a day of pointless rituals. Lord of this towered track, he had no option but to be at the beck and call of those officials whose duty it was to advise and guide him, leading him hither and thither through his subordinate home. Yesterday, he had climbed up a steep flank of hill, dug a great hole, and planted the 14th of a group of ash trees. Today, he had sat all day by the margins of the gnat-haunted lake, hour after hour, knee-deep in water, while servants passed before him with trays and gifts, for today was his 14th birthday. At last alone, in his little room, weary of his title, endless duty and ceremony, he tried to imagine ships docked in hazardous harbours. When the seas ran high, they rocked in his mind, and yet set sail for other lands. Around his neck, turkey feathers, given to him by the hereditary master of quills. But he was too irritable to make believe. And in a frame of mind quite savage in its resentment, an explorer, I suppose. Exploration. Damn the castle, damn the laws, damn everything! What do I care for the symbolism of it all? I want to live. I want to be myself. A person. A real life person. I'm not a symbol anymore. At least for one day. For one tremendous day of insurrection. After all, you are only a boy. What kind of fun are you having? What a relic. To where? And when? When should it be? Why now? Now, be up and be gone. What are you waiting for? But while his body trembled and cried, his mind was not so childish. Whether to make his bid for freedom at the speed of daylight or in the long hours of darkness was not so easy to decide. There was the obvious advantages of the night, but then there was the dire peril of becoming irrevocably lost and falling into the hands of evil forces. How much more frightening to be in a place remote from the castle, where at least here he was among his own kind. For there is a need for hateful things, and a hatred for what is in a strange way loved. So a child flies to what it recognizes for recognition's sake. It's to be alone in a land where nothing is recognizable. This is what he longed for, and this is what he feared. Outside, a bell began to chime, then another bell, and then a swarm of bells. High bells and low bells, bells of many metals, mournful bells and gay bells, the flat and the resonant. He never tired of the bells. His happiest moments were when he was alone. He longed to turn his anger into action, to make his bid, to escape. Outside in the distance, he could see pinpricks of light around the circumference of a circle. And down below, as though in obedience to the flames, people were gathering in their scores in the courtyards. For tonight was the night of high barbecue. And suddenly, he knew absolutely, he knew positively that now, in the thick of the turmoil of it all, now while ritual rings with bells and bonfires, now, on the crest of decision, he was agile, and he needed to be. This was no mere fleet of bounding down long flights of stairs, but at once was something much more secretive. He had, out of sheer inquisitive nature, discovered a dozen ways of reaching the castle grounds without being seen. He took out the window, moved from window ledge to window ledge. At a glassless window, he lowered himself down. What stretched in front of him was a huge expanse of attic, the beams of which ran from ceiling to ground. His mission, to reach the trapdoor, moving like a mechanical toy. All the next rooms carried a forlorn and dismal air about them. He moved through them. Floorboards that had long since rotted away. They were like ancient burial grounds. Moving to a window that led to the western rooftops. The sky erupted in a roar of colour, gunpowder exploding. Down below he could see the whole castle, deep in festivities. Hey! Moving to the edge of the roof, where a thick grey rope swung loose. He lowered himself down 100 feet, and then into the castle walls themselves, and out of sight. Voices. He moved down beneath the very walls, over boulders, through the tightest of gaps, and out into an old abandoned courtyard. The voices, of course, the children of the castle were at large. Tonight was their night of nights, with torches blazing. Then he saw them, through an archway, a group of wild urchins, moving in among their ranks. They whooped and cheered, sang the way out of the castle. Happy birthday to the Earl! I wish I was an Earl! Slipping from their ranks, he found himself alone. Lost. In the night. The moon slid out of the clouds, and what was in front of him was an expanse of clearing, a river, running fast and free, like he'd never seen before. It wasn't on any map. And then they came, out of the night, heads held high, cocksure of themselves. Dogs. So many dogs. Their fangs bare, panting. They gathered round in a half-moon circle, forcing him to the edge of the bank. When he couldn't go any further, a raft, stepping in, taking a stick, he pushed it deep into the muddy bank. But the dogs, their eyes, acid yellow, bright, joined him in the water, bobbing up and down, a flotilla of canine heads, a rhythm that soon brought with it sleep and a momentary sense of freedom.